One last battle to hold the line against the night.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
Hold the line. No one gets through, no matter what.
Sir, what are your orders?
There's only one order, Lieutenant. Behold.
Incoming transmission.
Allied reinforcements have arrived from the west.
You're listening to the Holonet on Mojo 50 Radio. The Millennial Conservative Resistance begins right here, right now.
Oh, yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages, the new Millennial Conservative Resistance does indeed begin right here, right now with you. You are listening to, and damn, I hope you're watching, the Holonet on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio. And it is... Oh, what the hell day is it? Jeez. It is the 30th of May in the year of our Lord 2020, the Roaring 20s, the Trumpian age, the age of the plague. That's right. We're still under the curse of the Rona. The curse being that the nation and the world have bought in whole cloth to the concept that you have a justifiable cause to shut down the entire global economy because of a disease that is something like 80% asymptomatic and has about the same fatality rate as the common flu. There's that. During today's show, I'm going to break down a couple of things because there's a lot to chew on. And I'm going to level with you real quick here. I always try to level with you because in talk radio, you really can't BS your way out of it. You know, you guys listen to me for an hour every week. You get to know me after a while. I like to think I get to know you. There's no escape. There's no escape. All right? If I'm full of... You're going to pick up on it. Anytime bull comes out of my mouth, you're going to know. It's just the way it is. You can't hide it. This is why I have so much respect for men and women who have done this for a long time. Because the record's there. Let's go to the videotape. You know, it's there. It's in the ether. You can't get around it. Rush Limbaugh has to be held to account for shit he said 20 years ago. I missed the censor. Oh well. Beck, same thing. Brad Staggs, Dominic Izzo, our old buddy Matt Locke, anybody who's been in this business for a long time, the record's there. It's always there. Because the power of the internet, you can go back and you can see crap I wrote in 2016 when I was not too jazzed about the concept of the Cheeto Eater-in-Chief. When I was not a never-Trumper, I will say, I never got on that boat, but I was definitely not on the Trump train either. I was not a Donald Trump supporter in 2016. I've said that many times. I had to come round. You know, it took a little while to get me on board. And even still, sometimes the grasp is quite tenuous. I was very pissed off when President Trump rolled out his beautiful tax breaks, his beautiful tax reductions, and, oh, this is going to be so great, this is going to make everything all better now, and guess what? No budget reduction. Actually, we're going to increase spending. I was not pleased. A lot of you were not pleased. Very justifiably so. Because if you're reducing taxes, but you're not reducing spending, that's only one half of a very necessary equation. You are not fixing the problem. You are making it feel a little better. You're curing the pain, but not the disease. And that is not what we need. We need to comprehensively fix our nation. We don't need to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Thank you, President Barack Obama. No, we need to fix America. We need to fix our addiction to huge government. And what I'm afraid of is something that Mr. Beck, I know, spoke about on his show many times, because I grew up watching the Glenn Beck program on Fox. I watched that. That's a big part of how I politically became who I am. And, you know, I give the guy a lot of credit. You know, I'm not beholden to him. This is Mojo 50. This is not the other place. But I learned a lot from that man. And top down, bottom up, inside out is something that really stuck with me. And the Cloward Piven strategy. And hot damn if that is not being played to a T right now in Minnesota, here in Phoenix, in DC, New York, and LA. It all started. Well, not it all, because there have been multiple instances, but this latest spate of violent protests and looting and all in all just acting like a jackass started with the horrific murder. And I will say that because I saw it just like the rest of you. I watched the same videos. I've watched breakdowns of the videos done by experts like Donut Operator on YouTube. Donut Operator actually recommended an excellent video that I reposted on the HoloNet's Facebook. Let me get the guy's name real fast because I don't want to screw it up. He had a great message. And you should check it out right now. Go to facebook.com/HoloNet, facebook.com/HoloNet. And you can actually check out that video done by a fantastic California police officer, I believe he is. And he broke it down for you. He's an African-American police officer who is hated by his own community. How much does that suck, to be hated by your own community because you're a cop? That's friggin' brutal. Hang on, I'm going to get to the guy's name. This is one of the reasons why I really need, like, the unpaid intern or second chair or producer or something. Here we go. I wrote, I cannot speak authoritatively regarding police procedures and law enforcement culture, so I look to experts like Ryan Tillman, brought to my attention by YouTuber, former police officer, Donut Operator, who is an awesome dude. I love his content. And Dominic Izzo is another great resource. I will say unequivocally, George Floyd was murdered. His death was a tragedy and a horrific perversion of law enforcement. But what I say next will be controversial. Please stop the violence. All of it. Police violence and violent responses we're seeing in the streets of Minneapolis and Los Angeles. We are countrymen. We are brothers and sisters. We are fellow human beings. The former officers involved in Mr. Floyd's murder need to be charged and brought to justice. To my understanding, charges have been pressed against the lead officer who was kneeling on his neck. I believe he's being charged with third-degree murder. But they do not need to be brought to mob justice. No amount of torched stores, homes, or bottles thrown at officers will solve this problem. Only all of the people of the United States coming together peacefully in acknowledgement of our problems in law enforcement and our culture. Because our culture is the problem. Or should I say our two cultures, and the fact that we are not willing to allow them to meet. That is our problem. That will set the stage for us to solve these problems. If we can come together and have a real, earnest conversation about the culture of this country. About who we are. Probably going to have to edit out the bangs. I'm sorry, I'm pissed. Now for the second night in a row, last night, there were violent demonstrations in Phoenix. In Phoenix. In Los Angeles, in Washington, D.C., they had to lock down the White House. In New York, in Los Angeles. None of this has to do with George Floyd. None of it has to do with Minneapolis anymore. At first it did. At first, I believe it absolutely was a visceral, pained reaction, pain and anger from the Minneapolis, Minnesota black community. From that community, that base saying we're tired of it. But it has since spread to city after city after city. Yes, the black community, I believe you are all one national community. I believe we are all a national community as Americans, not just as black Americans or white Americans or Hispanic Americans or Latinos or Asians or whatever. We're all Americans, okay? And we all know that this was wrong. No one on the right, no website, no writer, no pundit, no talking head, no conservative YouTuber has said, oh yeah, guy got what he deserved. Nobody said that. Everybody has said the cop was in the wrong. The difference is you've had people say, hold up, let's see all the facts. And you've had other people say, no, he was wrong, throw him in jail. Until I saw all the videos, until I saw all the information, I was saying, hold up, let's see the data. And I didn't post for quite a while. A couple days. Then I made this post. Okay? I ended it with, good night, God bless you, God bless the United States of America. George Floyd deserved better. Our whole nation deserves better. So let's be better. Let's stop this bullshit. Let's stop burning down our own cities. Okay? If you don't like cops, if you don't like police, go vote for your local offices. Engage with your city council, your town council, your village council. Engage with your mayor. Not all of us live in huge cities like New York, where that's difficult. I understand that's difficult, but you still have your first level up from you varies depending on where you are. Usually, it's a city councilman. Are you on the phone with your city councilman? Have you sat down with them? Have you gotten a bit of their time? Said, hey, I voted for you. I am your employer. You are paid to listen to me and to take my values and my interests up to government. Have you sat down with them? If you haven't, put down your torch, pick up your cell phone, and call them. Express yourself in a peaceful manner. I know you're mad. I'm mad. I'm mad as an American. And I'm mad that this makes us look bad in front of the entire world. This is a national embarrassment. It's a humiliation, and our enemies, our adversaries in other nations are laughing their asses off right now at us. Because we're supposed to be better. We are better people. But we are not acting like it right now. The actions of a limited number of law enforcement officers are tarnishing and tainting everything. Everything. And we have to take a long, hard look at how we police ourselves as a society and how we police our police. We live in a nation where the FBI can, with impunity, violate the rights of a citizen at that point who is running for president. Who can violate the rights of political actors for political purposes. That is the highest law enforcement branch in the land, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Then everything from there down suffers a loss of credibility. It suffers a loss of trust. And I listened to the Phoenix Chief of Police, Jerry Williams, I believe her name is. Very clever, well-spoken woman. And by the way, I do want to say, I want to put my support out there right now. Do it right now for Phoenix PD and for the Arizona Department of Public Safety. I believe they have acquitted themselves very well in the disturbances and the protests locally here in Phoenix. And I pray for them, and I pray for the safety of everybody who's out there protesting peacefully. Everybody who's out there protesting peacefully, my heart is with you. My heart aches for what happened to George Floyd and his family and what happens to innocent men and women who have unfortunate encounters with our police. But I do not believe that you can paint every police officer in the Minneapolis Police Department with the same brush that you paint the killer. I don't believe you can paint every police officer in Minnesota, every police officer in the United States, every law enforcement officer in the United States with the same brush. You just can't. It's not true. There are good police officers out there. There are good and great law enforcement out there. There are many in my own family. I am the grandson of a police officer and the nephew of a police officer and the cousin of a sheriff's deputy. I have a good friend who is with the Department of Public Safety here in Arizona. And my wife and I, we were on chat with his wife last night. She was scared. She was afraid. She was worried. And our thoughts and prayers were with them. And we were trying to console her. I don't know, yeah, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. We can't keep going like this. We can't keep going like this. We must change. We must change our law enforcement. We must change our government. We must change our culture. And how? By falling back to the Constitution. By falling back to non-militaristic police methodology. Community policing. Everybody used to joke, ironically, about officer friendly. And there are better men and women out there than me who can tell you more about this, who are more storied and more experienced in law enforcement. One of them is Mojo 50's very own Dominic Izzo, and I recommend listening to him. He's got some bombastic and controversial opinions. I don't always agree with him. You will not always agree with him either, but he comes from a place of personal experience working those main streets of Chicago. All right? He knows. He's got his book, Before the Badge. You can pick that up on Izzo.com. Shameless plug for my buddy Izzo. Oh, shit. Speaking of shameless plug, might be good if I did an ad, huh? Holy crap, who's paying for all this? Let's see what we got. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Prepare with Mojo 50. Preparewithmojo50.com. Make sure you get on there. Do it now. MyPatriotSupply.com. You have two special offers on there. One of them is available right now. The other one's sold out. You can get your 4-week emergency food supply for $197, saving $100 instantly. Limited 3 per household. It's 2,000 calories a day with 284 servings. Breakfast, lunch, dinners, drinks, snacks. 12 food varieties. 25-year shelf life. Free shipping and handling, which is normally $7.95. Do it right now. You got Traveler Stew in there, creamy chicken flavored rice, mac and cheese, which actually looks pretty damn good, long grain white rice, buttermilk pancakes, Southwest savory rice, Maple Grove oatmeal, and home style potatoes. So, sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, give me some of them French fried mashed taters. Take them home with me. Anyway, so preparewithmojo50.com. Preparewithmojo50.com. There, got in a plug, guys. Leave me alone. Holy crap. I am the worst. It's funny. I sell Mojo 50. I talk to people. If you're interested in advertising with Mojo 50, by the way, email me, info@theholownet, info@theholownet.com. You can call me, numbers at the bottom of the screen, 480-442-6604. And you, too, can have your ad run on this wonderful home of libertarian conservative opinion here on Mojo 50. All right. So I was saying, I got on a tangent with this George Floyd thing just because it pisses me off so bad. I mentioned that it's making us look bad to other nations. Yeah, get a load of this. I did a full-blown spit take. I spat coffee all over the... Look, I'm going to pull my camera down. So, look at it. Desktop right here, that had coffee on it. Laptop had coffee on it. Both mice had coffee on them. Luckily, thank God, I missed the soundboard. iPad had coffee on it. Screens had coffee on them. I borked it up bad, man. I had coffee everywhere. It was everywhere. It was in my raccoon wounds, okay? When I read this shit. China and Iran mock U.S. amid ongoing riots. You pieces of... Wait. Pieces of... Thank you. They mock us with I can't breathe. Okay? China fired back at United States' valid, I might add, concerns with Hong Kong's freedom by pointing directly at the racial unrest that has exploded in America, simply tweeting, quote, I can't breathe. China. You. You, your friends, your family, everybody that looks like you. Well, maybe not. That's kind of racist. But the Chinese government. Okay? Whoever authorized this tweet. Whoever authorized this tweet in China. You. That's horrible. Horrible. To usurp a horrific tragedy like the death of George Floyd for diplomatic purposes. You piece of... The tweet came from Hua Chunying, a foreign ministry spokesperson, came as the U.S. struggles with nationwide riots that have erupted in response to George Floyd's death in Minneapolis. Her, quote, "I can't breathe" attack touched a nerve, as both Floyd and Eric Garner, both unarmed black men, uttered that expression moments before they died, while facing what many believe was excessive force by police. State Department spokesperson Morgan Ortagus has castigated China for the way it treated the Hong Kong protesters. Quote, "Freedom-loving people around the world must stand with the rule of law and hold to account the Chinese Communist Party, which has flagrantly broken its promises to the people of Hong Kong," Ortagus said. Hua Chunying responded, "I can't breathe." Again, Hua, you're a piece of The tweet was just the latest in an apparent strategy of China accusing the United States government of hypocrisy as it faced criticism for the way it countered pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. More recently, President Trump announced that he would block Hong Kong's trading privileges after China's ceremonial parliament voted to bypass the semi-autonomous territory in enacting national security legislation. In another tweet, Hua posted a segment from Russia Today, which is the propaganda arm of Russia, blasting the U.S. for supporting the violent protests in Hong Kong while denouncing rioters as thugs. Because Russia definitely has room to talk about thugs, don't they? Lest we forget that this is a nation that was rebuilt with the hands and funds of Russian thugs. We call them oligarchs because it sounds a little nicer, but no, they're mobsters. They're criminals. They're pieces of who basically murder and extort their own people en masse, and now are the millionaires and billionaires of Russia who control the government, Vladimir Putin included. Iran, of all countries, similarly attacked the U.S., tweeting an altered press release. Oh, this is clever shit here. In which the State Department attacked Iran amid ongoing protests in 2018. Note, this was the Obama State Department under Hillary Clinton. So they tweeted this out. It says, "Recent protests..." Gotta wait for Twitter to load. Come on. I got 30 seconds. I can get through this. Recent protests in... They cross out Iran, put the U.S. instead. And they say the U.S. government is squandering its citizens' resources, whether it's adventurism in Asia, Africa, or Latin America, its support for countless dictators, where they crossed out Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, or its ambitions for wastefully expanding its nuclear arms program. It will only add to the suffering of the American people. As I have said before, it should surprise no one that protests continue in America. The American, instead of Iranian, people are demanding their leaders share the country's wealth and respond to their legitimate needs. Aha. We condemn the government's same futile tactics of suppression, imprisonment of protesters, and denial of Americans' frustrations. The people of America, instead of Iran, are tired of the racism added in, corruption, injustice, and incompetence for their leaders. The world hears their voice. Iran, welcome to the What a Piece of Club. On that note, folks, we got to take ourselves a quick little break here. We will be back. Stick around. You're listening to Holonet on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio.
On Mojo 50 Radio, the millennial conservative resistance begins right here, right now.
Trying to meditate a little bit here, trying to get myself a little calmer. You're listening to the HoloNet on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio. Thanks for sticking around through the break. I got a little wound up there, didn't I? Just a titch, that much. Yeah, it was bad. China, Russia, Iran, anybody else who wants to give an opinion on an international basis and throw a little shade, a little schadenfreude at the United States over the current protests and demonstrations that are going on, stay in your lane. Nobody cares. Nobody likes you. Stay in your lane. All right. I only did one ad spot during that. I kind of did one for Izzo, so that should count. But yeah, I want to make sure that that we're taking care of our sponsors because we love our sponsors here on Mojo 50. Speaking of loving your sponsors, baby, American Pride Roasters Coffee. Try not to choke on it this time and blow it all over my keyboard. Oh, that sounds bad if you edit that out. Blow it on the keyboard. Not nice. Anyway, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Get on there right now. Do it now. Official coffee of Doc Thompson's Daily Mojo and all the Mojo 50 network. You can get Brandon Morris's Code Monkey for $16 on there. Get the Madison, which is cinnamon and cacao, for £1, $16. You can do P-Hat Matt's Peppermint Mocha, 1 pounder. Sampler number 4, the Neapolitan. Yeah, that's about all they have on the featured items today. You can also do the Franklin, the Frederick Douglass, I already mentioned the Madison, the George Whitefield, and of course, the Bells of Liberty chocolate covered strawberry. I think that's still available. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check that one. I know you can also get Watson Prunier's white chocolate and the Izzo, which is Izzo's Rage. It is the angriest coffee known to man. And, of course, Ron's Sexual Chocolate. Make sure you go onto there right now, order some fantastic American coffee. To eat them at APR Coffee, go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Now, I could go on for the entire show about the protests, but you know what? You can flip to your local news channel. You can find all that happy crap there. I don't want to talk about it anymore, guys. I really don't want to talk. This has been the news cycle all week. It's been the news cycle. And I'm a news hound. That's why I do what I do. It's why I've always done what I've done. Why I wanted to be a journalist when I grew up. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a journalist when I grew up. It was all I wanted to do. I wanted to be a radio man. I wanted to be a journalist. I looked at, the likes of Edward R. Murrow. I looked at, oh, come on, Matt. How are you spacing on his name? Walter Cronkite. I looked at Walter Cronkite,
And that's the way it was.
And I wanted to emulate these men. I wanted to be a great newsman. Long story short, didn't finish college, wound up where I am now. No regrets. No regrets. I love being a father of 4 wonderful children. I am blessed and highly favored, grateful for where I am and the opportunities that have been given to me by Mojo 50, by the other place before that, and by Lanterns Media Network. I'm a very lucky guy. But when I see crap like this going on, and this is all that the news is, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I looked at it this morning, and I was like, I really don't want to do it. I just don't want to do any more of this shit. And that's about as real as it gets, guys. That is as real as you are ever going to hear when you're steeped in it. And you got to unplug sometimes. I unplugged the other week, and I went up to the mountains with my boys, my little girl, my wife, family, dogs. We all went up to the mountain. Been to the top of the mountain! And we had a good time. And we unplugged for a little bit. Because before that, it was just Rona. All coronavirus related. And speaking of which, I don't know if I plugged this yet here, but I know I did on the HoloNet the week I took off. There is an amazing video on BitChute right now by Computing Forever's David Cullen, a fantastic Irish content creator. Irish guy, kind of like Jonathan Dunn, Freedom's Disciple, America's favorite Irishman. It's really rather good. It's the emerging prison planet, and I think you should check it out because I could do a show on it, and I may, but he already lays it out very well that the coronavirus, and now, in my opinion, the explosion of violent protests following the murder of George Floyd, this is all a trial run for the government seeing how much we are willing to put up with. They want to see how deep they can push the long member of government. They want to see how much we will take before we crack. And we're getting real close, given what we're seeing on the streets right now. The black community, the African American community, has effing had it. And that's where the nonviolent protests came from. And, some of the angry protests, of course. But I believe the vast majority of the true rioting, the true violence that we're seeing right now is so AstroTurf. It should be lining Cardinal Stadium as we speak. It's Cloward Piven strategy to its core. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And I agree that they are besmirching and soiling the name of George Floyd. They have just looked at this and gone, oh, good, another excuse to burn down half the city. Let's do it. And you see people, Sargon of Akkad, who I reference quite frequently, an excellent British thinker, a liberalist thinker, not liberal, but liberalist. He is classical liberal, right up there with thinkers like Locke, not Matt Locke, but the 18th century Locke, and other Great Awakening thinkers and other freedom fighters. And he, I think, has hit the nail on the head on this as well, that we are seeing anarcho-socialists who are not just infiltrating, but are building this up and heating it more. It's the Fabian socialist mantra that we will heat the world to shape it to our heart's desire. And that is happening in real time. And the only way that we can stop it is by calling for justice and for peace. Justice and peace. They said no justice, no peace. Fine. We'll get justice. The officer's been arrested. He's being charged with murder. Time for the peace. Stand down. Today, I was actually a little late in getting the show put together today. Cutting this one a tad close. Sorry, Ron! You're going to be pissed. Today was a very momentous occasion, and it's just such a crazy juxtaposition of 2020. And I will say, it heartened me. It gave me cause to make me want to really get out there and do the show again. Today, because I'm going to be really real with you. I this morning I was going, what am I going to do? SpaceX and NASA work together, and the Crew Dragon, manned by two NASA astronauts, Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, rode skyward aboard a sleek white and black bullet-shaped Dragon capsule on top of a Falcon 9 rocket, lifting off at 12:22 p.m. local Arizona time from the same launch pad that was used to send the Apollo astronauts to the moon a half-century ago. Minutes later, they slipped safely into orbit, and shortly after that, the Falcon 9 rocket touched back down in a perfect landing. Hurley had said, "Let's light this candle," just before ignition, borrowing the words used by Alan Shepard on America's first human spaceflight in 1961. 59 years ago. How insane is that? Isn't that amazing? I don't know how many of you watched it. I watched it with bated breath. I watched it with my children. I said, this is history. We're going to sit down and we're going to watch this together. And I hope, I pray, my God, I hope and I pray that this has a similarly uniting effect on our people as it did back in the 60s. Another time of tumult, another time of racial riots in the streets and cities burning and police acting asinine toward the black community. Another time of civil unrest in this nation where we all stopped for a minute, for a couple of minutes, took a deep breath and held it and watched as brave American men rode a chariot of fire to touch the face of God. Because that's what they did today. For the first time in almost a decade, American astronauts launched in an American vehicle from an American space launch site. And they are orbiting the Earth right now. Godspeed. I'm going to borrow one from Razor Fist, the excellence of elocution, another great YouTuber. Godspeed. Doug Hurley and Bob Benkin. Godspeed. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you as you lifted your countenance upon him. You've taken your countenance up to him today. And may he bring you peace. The two men are scheduled to arrive at the International Space Station on Sunday. They will stay there for up to 4 months. After that, they will return to Earth in a Right Stuff style splashdown at sea. The mission unfolded amid the gloom of the coronavirus outbreak, which has killed over 100,000 Americans, and racial unrest across the U.S. over the death of George Floyd, a handcuffed black man at the hands of the Minneapolis police. NASA officials said they held out hope that the flight would be a morale booster. Maybe there's an opportunity here for America to maybe pause and look up and see a bright, shining moment of hope at what the future looks like, that the United States of America can do extraordinary things, even in difficult times, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine said before the launch. You are damn right, Jim. Damn right. And if you haven't had the chance, go back and check out. I'm going to make another recommendation to a good site. Check out Right Side Broadcasting or RSBN. They actually had excellent coverage of this the entire time. I was watching at the edge of my seat, and I've still got the goosebumps. Man. It was amazing. And just doing that countdown with my kids sitting there. I should have taped it, just in their little voices. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I had the surround sound on in the living room, and the sound of the rockets just filled the room, and thunder. I really did good job on that bass. And it's just loud, and they're so excited, and we're all just looking at TV going, go, 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 baby, go. And it was amazing. And if you haven't taken the opportunity to do this with your family, with your children, you really oughta. You really should, And it was nice. It was nice for just a few minutes to be a part of that history again. And to see our countrymen and our nation once again with hope in our hearts and the spirit of adventure reach for the stars. Now, I'm blubbering on a little bit here because huge nerd. I got my Star Trek. I was reading this before because I'm a huge Trekkie. I'm a gigantic Trekkie. Not so gigantic though. I lost like 7 pounds. Hey, trying to get this weight off because I'm fat. But it was good. It was what I needed, and I think it is what this country needs, is to get that hope back. And I applaud the Trump administration for doing it, and I know that the president promised that we would return to the moon by 2024. And God, I hope they keep that promise, because how uniting would that be? And in an hour where we deeply need unity and a national identity and cohesiveness, how wonderful would that be to see the American flag once again planted on the surface of the moon. And after that, to see the first man and the first woman walk on Mars. I'm excited about our space program because it broke my heart, and it was one of my biggest beefs with the Obama administration when they retired the space shuttle program at STS-135, the last flight of the Aquarius, with no replacement. It was a national humiliation in my eyes. I was personally embarrassed that our astronauts had to board 50-plus-year-old technology from the Russians. Soyuz capsules, guys. Soyuz capsules. In order to get to the International Space Station. It's terrible. Terrible. Shameful. But now, the power of American entrepreneurialism and ingenuity in the form of a private company, albeit getting federal funding, because of course they're working a federal contract, but a private company in SpaceX, Elon Musk's SpaceX, designing, testing, constructing, and operating a commercial spacecraft and handing that over to the government and going, let's go back to the stars. Bravo, Elon Musk. Bravo, SpaceX and NASA. Bravo, President Trump, for making all this happen. Because we needed it. Bad. All right, what else we got to go through? Okay. Do one more ad. Another ad. And, guys, we got to talk about this President Trump and Twitter monkey fight. Because it's just a thing we got to talk about. We have to discuss it. And I would really like to hear your thoughts on it as well. So please shoot me a text, give me a call, leave a message on 480-442-6604, and let me know what your thoughts are. Comments below, F's in the chats, all that. And we'll talk it out. What you think about President Trump's new executive order and stance against social media. But before we do that, I wanted to have you all check out our partners, our advertisers at newlifeholistic.com. Newlifeholistic.com has their quantum biofeedback. It is a great solution for ADD, ADHD, weight loss, headaches, migraines, chronic pain, PTSD. You can quit smoking with it. There's so many things that you can do using this quantum biofeedback. Like I said, I know Izzo swears by it. I believe that Brad has also tried it with some success as well. Quantum biofeedback, go to newlifeholistic.com. Tell them that Mojo50 sent you, or you can give them a call. Let me get to that information here. Here we go. 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE, 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE. They're located in Chi-Town in Chicago. They also have an O'Hare office, and they're also in Naperville, Illinois. If you want to get to them, they can also provide their services directly by phone as well with quantum biofeedback. And check them out today. Tony's a great guy. He will get you taken care of there. That is newlifeholistic.com for your quantum biofeedback. You got to start with your mind first. If you want to balance yourselves out, you want to fix your body, you got to fix your mind. So let's check that out today. Quantum biofeedback at newlifeholistic.com. Okay, so about 7 minutes left in the show. I did want to get to this. Oh, by the way, if you haven't picked them up yet, go to sueñodetores.com, get your constitutional cigar there. It is a wonderful website run by a friend of the program, Jennifer of That's What She Said fame. You can get the Connecticut Wrapped Toro, the Constitutional. It's Connecticut Wrapped Toro cigar, Dominican tobacco, hand-rolled, fresh to order in Tampa, Florida. The Constitutional delivers a mild smoke with a perfect ash, an hour and a half of aromatic freedom. So, back to what we were talking about here. The executive order on preventing online censorship. This past week, President Trump signed this executive order issued May 28, taking a stand against censorship on Twitter and on all social media. We are finally insisting, as many in the media, like Louder with Crowder, Steven Crowder, myself, Sargon of Akkad, Mark Meekum, Count Dankula, InfoWars Alex Jones, because you got the stuff they're putting in the water to turn to the frickin' frogs gay. That guy, yeah, him. He's talking about this too. Forcing these services online to adhere to the law, to adhere to the concept. that you have to be a publisher or platform and not both. So, this is what the executive order reads. By authority of the vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Free speech is the bedrock of American democracy. Our founding fathers protected this sacred right with the First Amendment in the Constitution. The freedom to express and debate ideas is the foundation for all our rights as people. In a country that has long cherished the freedom of expression, we cannot allow a limited number of online platforms to hand-pick the speech that Americans may access and convey on the internet. This practice is fundamentally un-American and anti-democratic. When large, powerful social media companies censor opinions with which they disagree, they exercise a dangerous power. They cease functioning as passive bulletin boards and ought to be viewed and treated as content creators. Woohoo! About time! The growth of online platforms in recent years raises important questions about applying the ideals of the First Amendment to modern communications technology. Today, many Americans follow the news, stay in touch with friends and family, and share their views on current events through social media and other online platforms. As a result, these platforms function in many ways as the 21st century equivalent of the public square. Yes! Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube wield immense, if not unprecedented, power to shape the interpretation of public events, to censor, delete, or disappear information, and to control what people see or do not see. As president, I have made clear my commitment to free and open debate on the internet. Such debate is just as important online as it is in our universities, our town halls, and our homes. It is essential to sustaining our democracy. Online platforms are engaging in selective censorship that is harming our national discourse. Tens of thousands of Americans have reported, among other troubling behaviors, online platforms flagging content as inappropriate, even though it does not violate any stated terms of service, making unannounced and unexplained changes to company policies that have the effect of disfavoring certain viewpoints, and deleting content and entire accounts with no warning, no rationale, and no recourse. Twitter now selectively decides to place a warning label on certain tweets in a manner that clearly reflects political bias. And as reported, Twitter seems to have never to have placed such a label on another politician's tweet. As recently as last week, Representative Adam Schiff was continuing to mislead his followers by peddling the long-disproven Russian collusion hoax. And Twitter did not flag those tweets. Unsurprisingly, its officer in charge of so-called site integrity has flaunted his political bias in his own tweets. At the same time, online platforms are invoking inconsistent, irrational, and groundless justifications to censor or otherwise restrict American speech here at home. Several online platforms are profiting from and promoting the aggression and disinformation spread by foreign governments like China. One United States company, for example, created a search engine for the Chinese Communist Party that would have blacklisted searches for human rights, hid data unfavorable to the Chinese Communist Party, and tracked users determined appropriate for surveillance. It has also established research partnerships with China that provide direct benefits to the Chinese military. Google! Excuse me. Other companies have provided advertisements paid for by the Chinese government to spread false information about China's mass imprisonment of religious minorities. Facebook! Excuse me. They have also amplified China's propaganda abroad, including allowing the Chinese government to use their platforms to spread misinformation regarding the origins of COVID-19 pandemic and to undermine the pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong. All of them! Okay. As a nation, we must foster and protect diverse viewpoints in today's digital communications environment where all Americans can and should have a voice. We must seek transparency and accountability from online platforms and encourage standards and tools to protect and preserve the integrity and openness of American discourse and freedom of expression. I know that was a large block of reading. I apologize, but you can check this out. A link will be in the description. Read it for yourself before you make a judgment. And I will also provide a link in the description for 47 USC 230, so that's U.S. Code, Protection for Private Blocking and Screening for Offensive Material. This is the law that declares that you can be one or the other, not both. This is the U.S. Code. And it says, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Okay? No provider of an interactive computer service shall be held liable on account of and voluntary actions, etc., so on and so forth. I'm running out of time rapidly, but you can check it out for yourself. It lays out that you cannot be both an interactive computer service and an information content provider. And by acting in an editorial fashion, this is what Twitter, Facebook, and Google through YouTube have done. And this is why President Trump enacted an executive order moving to declare that these companies are acting not as platforms, but as publishers. And as a result, should and must lose their liability protections unless they change course. And my hope is that this does not destroy Twitter, that this does not destroy Facebook or any other industry or medium, but it guides them. It tells them, just like I told the other nations, stay in your lane. You are a platform, you're not a publisher. You do not get to curate your content in this way. You do not get to change whole cloth the political discourse and cultural discourse of this nation. No one should have that kind of control. Like Yeezy said, no one man should have all that power. Yeah, that's right. I just quoted him. I just quoted Kanye West. Yeah! Anyway, like a native. Well, folks, it's been a rough week, but I hope that we can all take some time today and look to the skies and feel that hope again, realizing that America is returning to the stars. On that note, folks, that music means my time's up. Thank you for listening to the Holonet on the Mighty, the Powerful Mojo 50. Good night. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Matt Holloway.